Hey everyone, so in today's video I'm basically going to be going over all the tips and tricks you guys might want to keep in mind or things you might want to pack when you'll be going over to Disney World. I thought this would definitely be really useful, so if you guys are interested to hear what I have to say, just keep on watching. So first thing is your outfit. Definitely something that I noticed when I went over there and I went to each park. I seen kind of a common trend that everyone, or mostly everyone, will be wearing a Disney themed shirt, or they'll maybe dress up without actually wearing a physical costume. They'll kind of make it look like a costume without being a costume, because as an adult you're actually not allowed to dress up. So a few things that I figured that, you know, was great, and what I kind of did, and I already had a few of these items, were basically getting Disney inspired shirts or clothing items basically. So for example, I wore this one on my last trip, and as you can see, it does say Mickey and it has his head. So with this one, I basically got it at H&M. Quite a few different brands like Old Navy, Walmart, Forever 21, H&M. They basically will do collaborations pretty often, and you can get quite a few different variations of Disney shirts, because you tend to get the typical ones at maybe at Walmart, but if you want to get something a little more different or something not as common and you want to basically stand out when you're at Disney World, you can definitely check out like H&M, Forever 21, Old Navy, because they definitely do come up with different styles throughout the year, and it's always more affordable than having to go over to the Disney store. So that's definitely something I kind of started to do throughout the year. When I figured out that I was going to be going away to Disney World, I knew that I wanted to wear something different than I did the last time. Keeping my eye open throughout the year, I basically would pick up whatever I could. So another place that I found that had quite unique shirts and definitely really affordable ones was also Winners and Marshall. And you'll normally get it always in either white, gray, or black. You might get the odd red color, but if you want to get something really unique, I highly recommend going to the thrift store. The amount of brand new or even vintage Disney wear was amazing, and honestly when it came to the prices, it couldn't compare. Got this really cute brand new visor, and this one is actually from Animal Kingdom. I guess the person went on vacation, never ended up wearing it, and then they donated it, so I definitely got a great deal on this, and I just loved how the design on it, and this is perfect because I am planning on going to Animal Kingdom, so if I want to wear it, I already have something from there and it just will match the whole aesthetic. Now moving on to something that is quite popular, and you'll see a lot of people wearing these, are basically like Minnie ears, or they even have Mickey ears as well, and they actually have a few other characters as well. These ones you can actually buy online, and they're not necessarily the authentic, like the original kinds that you'll see at the park, but they definitely are really cute, and some people actually sell their own handmade ones on Etsy, which is pretty nice, so you can actually support someone that makes them, and it'll be custom made, which is always really nice to take. Or if you want to get similar styles like this one, you can definitely get them on Amazon and eBay, and they sell them for quite a good price if you want to wear one going down. But then if you want to buy one as a souvenir, that's definitely something you can do as well. I actually originally bought two online for my first trip, and then I happened to buy two other ones that are really nice, and they literally are the same exact one. They're actually brand new when I bought them on eBay. And also, if you want to get authentic ones that aren't going to be sold at the park, you can either check Claire's. They have a few different styles as well, and then you can also check out Winners, which I didn't expect. So Winners or Marshalls, I was actually able to get a pair for my niece, and I literally only paid maybe $5 for it, so it was definitely a steal, and that was their original price, and it also is actually from the Disney store, which is also great. If you're going to be buying it at the park, it can range from maybe $20 to maybe $40-ish, so they are quite expensive. Something you can get for free, which I find kind of sentimental when you're going to Disney World, especially if it's your first time, your birthday, or your anniversary. Once you get to the head desk where you receive your passes and your tickets, and you basically do all your confirmation stuff like over there, you can get a button which is really cute, and it basically says first visit, or I'll say happy birthday or happy anniversary, and at the back a cast member will basically put the date, the day you basically came there for your first time. Whenever I'm looking back in a scrapbook or if I want to put on display the first time I went to Disney World, I have a pin to show for it. So something that's very common, which you might know already about, or you'll see people doing, and you'll also see the cast members with these, and basically they are pins, and these are considered trading pins. What's nice about them, you can buy them online. Once you go to Disney World, you can actually buy them there. That's something I found kind of fun and just something extra to do. They can be quite expensive, and you can get different options when it comes to the pins. You can either buy them in lots, you can buy surprise packs, you can buy specific ones. There's definitely many different options. I personally didn't necessarily go down my first time planning on trading pins, but not until after I went to my first maybe 2 parks. I figured, you know what, I kind of want to trade pins just for the fun of it, and I bought basically a mystery pack. If you guys are interested to see what pack I got, I actually have a vlog where I showed you guys basically a little unboxing of it, and I'll link it down below. Or another thing I would recommend is actually checking out the thrift store again, because I was actually able to find a few vintage pins, which was really nice because some of these pins were from the 80s, the 70s, I believe, before trading became a thing. So these ones were like the original ones that were made in Taiwan, and there's just a lot of history behind some of these pins, so I thought that was pretty cool. Those ones I'm definitely not going to be trading. I'm going to basically add it to my collection, but if you are interested in trading pins, that's something I would recommend doing. So I basically have my pins in this little pouch. Originally I had just the 5 pins, and then after I accumulated more and I bought some at the thrift store, I ended up putting it inside this pouch. And I would recommend getting some sort of bag or something to put them in, just so you can keep them all together. There are booklets that you can have to basically have them on display, and you might consider wanting to buy either ahead of time or while you're at Disney World. Is basically lanyards. And 2 things is people either put their pins on their lanyard just so you can have it on display, and just so you can basically see them. And why I'm not a big fan of putting it on a lanyard, why I rather have it in a pouch, is because I found once you had them on, if you weren't really paying attention or you're moving around and you're not really noticing, you can actually lose your pins, which is kind of unfortunate because, you know, you're spending quite a bit of money on them sometimes, and maybe you have some really nice ones that you want to keep, so you definitely don't want to lose them. So that's why I wouldn't recommend having it on the lanyard, because a few people in my family actually lost a few of theirs that they had. So the pouch that I have that I'll be bringing to Disney World has actually different compartments, so I know which ones I'm trading, which ones I'm keeping, and that way they're out of the way and I don't get them mixed up. But also having a lanyard does come in handy for if you do want to keep your pins on it, but also if you has one of these little pouches where you basically will be putting your card in. It is definitely very handy because once you go to the park, and if you're going to be getting fast passes, you want to basically have your fast pass on your lanyard. But if you don't want to actually be using the fast pass cards, you can also purchase a magic band, and I actually purchased one while I was at Disney World. What's nice about them is it's good for 5 years, so luckily when I bought it, now 2 years has passed, so I still have the chance to use it because I have up to 5 years. Like I mentioned, you don't have to have a lanyard with your fast pass in it. You just have it on your wrist and you can tap it, so when you are going on your ride, you just have to scan it so they know that you do actually have a fast pass. If you are going to be staying at any of the resorts or anything, you generally will get one for free because that is actually your key. And if you want to put a credit card on it, you have the option to do that. And there might be a few other features. I don't necessarily remember everything off my head, but it definitely does come in handy if you just don't want to have to worry about having a lanyard or taking it off. Whatever the case is, you can have it on your wrist. It's waterproof and definitely a lot more easier for me. Moving on to my last tip is something that I found super helpful when it came to planning on which parks I want to go back to, or some rides that I want to go on to, is basically having the maps. Now obviously if you haven't gone to Disney World, you're not going to have the maps, but if you go online, you can also access them. And why I found keeping the maps is actually really helpful is when you are planning on the rides you want to go on, or if you're going to be booking a fast pass, you definitely don't want to be booking a fast pass for rides that are like total opposites. The parks are very huge and it's a lot of walking, and in case your fast passes are quite close, in time slots, you definitely don't want to have to be running from one end to the next or missing out on your ride. So definitely looking at the map ahead of time before actually choosing the rides you're going on is definitely really helpful. So that's all for today. I hope you guys enjoyed and found that helpful. If you guys have any comments or questions, leave them down below as always. I'll catch you guys all in my next video. Bye!